Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at what I've been told is a legendary bottle, Dustin, the 2014 Lagavulin Feis Ila. Dustin, this came recommended highly from me by people who know Lagavulin. Our buddy Steve Connor is one of them, and then also my buddy Brent Kress and Brian Matthews said, hey, you're a Lagavulin fan, you need to get your hands on the 2014 Feis Ila.
Those are three names I trust.
Yes. Why, Dustin? 19-year-old whiskey. Distilled and put in a barrel in January, and then February of 95, and then February 2014, they bottled this bad boy. So it's 19 years in refill sherry, Dustin. Refill sherry butts is how they word it. 3,500 bottles. And this is a part of two Lagavulins, before you have me, my friend, that they recommended heavily to me. This and the 2013 Jazz Fest. So,
okay.
13 Jazz was a good one. This one, it took me a while to get this bottle. The Jazz Fest came a lot easier than this bottle did. This bottle I had to search around for quite some time, but finally got my hands on it. It wasn't easy, but still these Lagavulins that are 7-8 years old, floating around out there, my friend, and the cork stood up to the test of time.
They make good corks. That's one thing Diageo nails.
Yes. So again, nice, beautiful cask strength Lagavulin. This one comes in at 54.7% ABV. And again, they always give you a nice job of, on these Feis Ilas and Jazz Fest, of saying the exact wood type, European oak sherry butt.
Yeah.
I like it when they're playing about it. This is bottle 3194.
It's easy peasy. Just sat in one butt.
No, I think it says butts, like in the description on Whiskey Base, but yeah, but let's get to it.
Man, it's smoked vanilla with gasoline.
Oh, man, this one's real punchy. You know, when this is the second of the two I opened. The first was at 13 Jazz of these bottles these guys recommended. Jazz was more sherry. This is definitely sherry cask.
Yeah.
But it is far more spicy, far punchier.
When you have that smoke and you have that sherry, that's when Lagavulin brings this like diesel gasoline note to me, and that is heavy here.
But yeah, I get that when it's not overly sherry.
Yeah.
It can't be Lagavulin 21
That's these
or
refills.
25, right? It's got to be like the
Nailed
24 Feis Ila. Some of these Feis Ilas really kind of get there.
Oh, there's a little bit of light red fruit.
Buddy, let me tell you something. The spice note on this, like a peppercorn spice, is this is one of the spicier Lagavulins on the nose I can remember.
I'm not getting a ton of spice here. I mean, there is a overcoat of light pepper.
Yeah, peppercorn.
But what I'm really getting on this thing is almost like a sweet meat.
It does go savory at some point.
Oh, man, so smoky. I mean, it's different kinds of smoke. It's barbecue smoke. It's cigarette ash. It's charcoal. Yeah. Like it's, you just finished grilling on one of those charcoal. Like
straight on the charcoal. Just throw the meat right on there.
Paint kill. Sorry, buddy. This one's not for you.
I was going back and forth on the smoke note on this. This is the fourth time I've had it. And I tell you what, man, I have thought barbecue smoke, and I have thought like really sooty coal smoke, chimney smoke, if you will. And you're right, kind of both from there. There's the chimney sweep at the bottom, and there's the chimney soot actually in the stack itself. But yeah, it sachets into some softer meats. I would say some type of pork, especially with that pepper note. But okay, here's something that I thought
maybe back ribs,
more so than anything. This is the most mineral forward of the Lagavulin specialty releases I can remember. Almost like it's moss on stone, but that stone note, it is the mineral note. I don't want to say it's super mineral. The mineral note is more substantial than it is in some of the other Lagavulins.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought when I nosed this mic was it's like I went by a pond, and there's a bunch of rocks sitting in there in the water that's just been sitting in there, versus maybe like a Dickel or like if you went and bought like some kind of spring mineral water. This has like kind of that I've been sitting out, not moving around, sitting on rocks kind of note.
Yeah, there's some green vegetation or moss growing on it.
Maybe you had a flower pot that had rocks in there to hold like the flowers in place, and you added the water. Maybe that kind of note even. Maybe even a little bit of that green vegetal note.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
But mostly to me, it's sweet smoke, the barbecue meats.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything.
On the nose, the mineral is limited to me. It's there. The spice is there. Now, we're about to get into the taste where I'm going to change my tune on all those notes.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are here, and then like that sherry note's kind of just in the background, but it's a nice sherry note, like it is, say, in the 2015 Feis Ila, where it's a compliment. Not a sherry, but you can tell it's like a different sherry cask with a little bit more juice left in it. What are you picking up on the palate?
Oh, it's so sweet and inviting up front initially. Pepper builds up pretty noticeably. I'm really picking up the sherry casks. They're really nice. They're adding more of a juicy fruitiness. Then this beast erupts as soon as you swallow. Smoke comes billowing out. That mineral, that moss gets stronger and stronger. Really lovely. I actually kind of like it when it doesn't have a chance to open up, Mike, because it gives me a little more sherry forwardness. You know, the 2 times I've had this before, we let it really open up before we got into it. And you lose a little bit of that sherryness. But man, right now, the finish. Mineral, sooty, a little bit of like some kind of vegetation growing on it. Beautiful.
Yeah, on the palate, you do get a lot of sweetness from the sherry cask. When you swallow, though, the pepper really comes up strong. But again, man, there's that mineral note. Something I really wasn't getting initially. There's a nice citrus. I can't really identify the citrus note to it quite yet. Citrus is there. I wouldn't go so far as to say peach, but it's a little bit fruitier on the palate on the finish than I was getting on the nose. There's some nice fruits coming in, but just everything in the background, super sooty smoke. And it comes off sooty smoke. Just damp, coal, some industrial area, just black in the sky with this linger. Man, really, along with the pepper note, really comes off earthy, but then with a couple of the nice fruits to sort of balance it out. Man, you're right. When you said initially layers with this whiskey, there are definitely layers.
Yeah, I got probably 3 transitions. There might be a 4th one, especially if you let it open up. And now I might a little bit of water in here, and I am getting lemon lime up front now that I didn't get it all before.
I was gonna say, I took a quick sniff with the water. I said kind of a citrus on here when I on the palate, but as soon as I went in here with water, it's so much more fruity.
Yeah. When you started saying that, then I nosed it, and I'm like, there's that citrus. Hey, I can smell it.
Yeah, it is a lemon lime citrus, not peach like I normally get from Lagavulin. It's lemon lime citrus.
No, and then I think some of that mineral note is actually those nice sherry casks coming in at the end, and it's become more distinctly sherried. So I'm hoping the palate does the same because I love me the sherry. This is good sherry.
It is good sherry, and it's almost becoming sugary and almost, I would say, icing on the top of a cake with that, just the sugary sweetness of that sherry.
I'm almost thinking like if you took a freaking like some kind of like vanilla frosting and you put pepper on it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you did it.
Right, I don't know why you did it. Well, I tell you, as you know, I got 6 sisters. My second oldest sister puts pepper almost everything. Almost everything besides ice cream, right? And I would joke with her, I'm like, what would you put pepper on, Melissa? And she was like, ice cream. So that was the only thing she wouldn't put pepper on. But I tell you what, this is icing, ice cream. It's one of the two with pepper on top of it.
I know whose macaroni and cheese I'm not eating. You get over for Thanksgiving, you get together and somebody brings, potatoes. And you're like, pepper's fine there, I guess.
She liked it spicy.
But you put it on mac, I'm like, I'm out.
She definitely do that. Yeah, much more fruity, much more sugary, candied. It's almost a candied citrus note to it. And then, you know what? I really wasn't getting initially on the nose, but man, here's the vanilla in loads. Almost a vanilla yogurt.
My water didn't quite help the palate as much. Brought the spice forward at first. That's fine. Kind of broke up the mid palate though, and kind of just sort of took away something from it. Yeah, recommend this one neat. What's the ABV on this one, Mike? Let's see here. 54.7. Yeah, that's a good ABV, but that's an ABV where sometimes water is a little shaky. I can see that. Anyway.
Water thinned it out.
Yeah.
Which, of course, that's what it's
supposed to do, but
supposed to do, yeah.
It did a lot of thinning.
I tell you what, you are still getting it with the water, the sweeter notes. That sherry almost reminds me of the bubblegum sherry now on the finish. As soon as I swallow it, I get a little of that bubblegum sherry they got with the 2015 Jazz.
I'm not there.
You're not there with the sweetness because it is a spicier lager.
Well, it's just a different profile. That bubblegum sherry is a whole different everything.
It was there by itself, buddy. This has just got a wall. Again, this is my sister putting pepper on ice cream.
It does have a lot of pepper.
It does.
But it's not spicy. It's got some alcohol kick. It adds pepper up front, but it doesn't make it super hot where we had that one Lagavulin, and it was like a 2008, it's the one we really didn't like. We kind of compared it
2018 Jazz, yeah.
18 Jazz, yeah. That one was spicy in an unpleasant way.
Correct.
That one was like I just had Mexican food, and this is spicier, and I don't like it.
Yeah, no. And Lagavulin's 1718 Jazz did do that. But this one here, it's a very pleasant pepper, but I am getting some of that bubblegum sherry. It's just wrapped around, and you can't get it. You can't intertangle them. They're interwoven, so it got dirty.
Yeah.
Bubblegum got dirty. It's on the floor. Someone stepped on it. But it's still bubblegum. I mean, I wouldn't eat it, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this one at all, but it's definitely better without the water.
All right, buddy. So this is another one of these really hard to get Lagavulins. Another one of the really high 6 or 7, very, very well thought of Lagavulins.
Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, this is of the 6 or 7 epic Lagavulins that me and my friend Joe are talking about. This is probably on the lower end of that spectrum. I like the 2013 Jazz better, of course, the 15 Feis Ila, 16, 25-year-old. I mean, all those are superior whiskeys along with the 21s, in my opinion. But this is still a very, very good offering. Oily, dense, mouthfeel, multiple layers. It will absolutely change depending on how much time you give it, depending on whether or not you add water into it. I, too, agree that neat is the way I prefer it, but that's not unnormal for me.
Yeah.
That's a usual suspect for me. So I'm going to put it on the lower end of the epic Lagavulins, but still a very good whiskey. 91 out of 100. Dustin, your thoughts?
So, neat, I was debating 91, but I just wasn't quite there. And then water sent me far, far away from 91. So I'm going to give it a 90. I was definitely neat. It's ever at the potential there. I might have given it an 89 or an 88 with water. It took it down that far for me.
I agree. The water kind of disjointed, especially on the palate. It did bring up some nice, more of the citrus notes.
Yeah,
and,
it's good on the nose.
Yeah, a little bit more candied on it. But yeah, overall.
Yeah, I really
drinker.
enjoy this one. Neat. It's pushing into that 91 category. I just came up short. And so once I added water and it went down, I felt very comfortable with 90.
So Dustin, is that a $1,000 bottle?
No.
I know.
450, 500. I think
that's
that's
what I
where
paid
it's tapping out in my mind.
That's what I paid for it. I still really like Lagavulin.
You pay a Lagavulin fanboy fee every time you go out on these. Think about this, Mike.
I'll buy another one.
You found a bottle of this from what? Almost a decade ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
In America.
Bought in 2022, 8 years ago. Yeah.
That was only sold to distillery.
Yeah, only 3,500.
So yeah, you're paying a premium for that collectability and rarity. So
I will do it again. That's for sure. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular Lagavulin. If you guys had a chance to try this one, let us know what you think. And thank you to, again, my good buddy Steve Connor, Brent Kress, and Brian Matthew. You guys all recommended this one along with the 13 Jazz, and there were bottles I am happy that I got. Don't think my 91 is anything less than, this is a really good whiskey, and I'm glad I got my hands on it. Dustin, until next time, we'll wish the folks.
happy epic Lagavulin drinking.
We'll see you then.